by Blerdography.
I decided to get into cosplay. So my friend Brian actually took me to my first convention, which was Dragon Con in 2014 now. That's almost a decade ago. I'm still trying to wrap my mind around that. He took me to my first Dragon Con and I was just like overwhelmed because it was like so many people. I've been into comics, anime, and like things since I was like 5. And I feel like cosplay was the only part that I hadn't really got into fully. So when he took me, like just seeing all of these great people, and they made like a whole bunch of this dope stuff, like they crafted all this. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, how have I not been doing this for the past few years now? So like really like just that opportunity of like getting to actually see all these people's different builds and everything, I was like, I just have to join this basically. So 2015, I did my first cosplay, which was Miles Morales. This was before Into the Spider-Verse, so like you really only knew who he was if like you were reading the comic books and everything. And I did that first cosplay. I climbed up on top of one of those statues that's in front of the Marriott, and I was taking like just some posing photos for one of my cousins. And seeing like 40 people see me up there, like just rush forward, just wanting to take my picture, and I was just like, yeah, man, this is it. I can probably do this for the rest of my life.
What's been like your favorite cosplay?
That's a really good and hard question. My favorite, possibly my Robin, and I say that because like Dick Grayson has been one of my favorite comic book characters for like the longest, especially when he transitions into Nightwing. But I felt like I love his color scheme, really. Like he's been one of my favorite comic book characters. I want to say since like middle schoolish. And with me personally, I don't like to actually make the character look exactly how they are in each comic book. I kind of want to put my own little signature, put a little bit of my personality into it. So as you can tell, like with my White Ranger, it doesn't look accurate because I had to put me into it. But I would say that the Dick Grayson Robin, like, that's probably my favorite, and it's also because I won my very first competition in there. They did the DC fandom competition. I think that was in 2020, and I was one of their finalists. And then I won that competition. So that was pretty cool. I didn't expect to win because it was so many great people who they submitted stuff. But the fact that I did, like, just kind of was mind-blowing to me. So I think that's my favorite.
My question to you is, what decisions or what factors go into you deciding to make a new cosplay? Like, you base it off of just characters you like, based off your body size? What factors is that?
Got you. Very good question. I would say, so I kind of like to like do characters that I don't see as much, or if you do see them as much, then you know I have to put my own little spin to it pretty much. But I would mainly base it off of like just what I'm currently into during that time. I've been reading like a lot of the Boom, like Power Rangers comics lately. So of course I did the Green Ranger last year, and I'm doing the White Ranger now. I eventually want to do an Omega Ranger too. I'm still figuring that out. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Jason's look. I'm not sure. And I'm also competing this year at Dragon Con. So I'll be doing. So they want us to do. I think mine is a My Hero Academia theme one. So I'm gonna tackle Bakugo. So I feel like I'm still kind of brainstorming, trying to figure out how I'm gonna put my signature to it, but I think it's gonna come out dope.
Do you have any like cosplays that are, you know, maybe uncomfortable, but
Yeah. That's a really good question too. We were actually talking about this last night. I don't know if I have one that's like so uncomfortable that I can't be in it for like 5 or 6 hours, but the armor does kind of like weigh you down some, especially since some of my pieces are like 3D printed. I guess it's because there is so much movement, because you're walking like back and forth to like panels, or you're going down to the floor and stuff. So having these weights on, like, it does kind of get uncomfortable to where like by like maybe 10 o'clock, like I'm ready to come out of the whole thing and I'm in a onesie for the rest of the con. But I can't think if I have one that's like really too uncomfortable to where I wouldn't really be in it too long. When I cosplayed Cloud Stripe, my sword, so I did it like pretty accurate. I think it's like a 6.5 to 7 inch long sword. Yeah. I think I printed it. I 3D printed that with about 20% infill, so it added like some weight to it. So I'm carrying around like this all day. So when I'm done, like my shoulders are like done. But I can't say that I have one that's like I can't be in it for like too long. Though. Thank you.
How long has like your the period between getting the cosplay done and wearing it? How long is that?
It depends. That's a good question too. If it's more like a like cosplay where it's not too much armor, kind of like with my Cloud, I didn't have to really build too much armor. I think I just did like his arm, and that was it pretty much. Really tackling the Buster Sword took the longest. I think it took me about 3 weeks to like get it printed, sanded, filled, primed, painted. But like your average like armored suit that I do, I would say it probably takes me about a month and a half, maybe like 2, just to get it designed, crafted, and painted pretty much. Huh?
So you've been cosplaying for a while now. How many doors and opportunities have presented themselves in front of you because you've been into the cosplay world and actually kind of made a name for yourself?
Really good question. Man, let me think if I can think of the list. Okay, I mentioned the DC fandom competition. That was insane. I was fortunate to where I was able to work with Marvel back in 2018, I think it was. Yeah. I'm trying to think of opportunities. Being here at MomoCon, like it's the first time that I've ever been like excuse me. Thank you. Like a cosplay guest here. So many things going through my head right now. I'm trying to think. That's a really good question though. Like just so many fans really. Like I have made friends from this really. Like really close friends that I've been cool with. Some 14 years now. Some like 5. It's just been like a really wild yet fun ride, and I'm just looking forward to like what it takes me into next really.
Thank you.
So, besides cosplay, what are some other ways that you like to geek out?
Going out to the movies with friends is probably like a really big one, because we're into like, you know, like the science fiction type of stuff. Other ways that I geek out, coding my 3D printers, like that's another good one. Which I'm sure that might be Chinese to some of y'all, but it's a lot of mathematics in there, and it's funny because I hate math, but I love it when it comes to like crafting things like this pretty much. Other ways that I geek out, going out with like family, like we like to go to like arcades and like things like that. Gaming for like really long hours, whether it's just me or it's online, like with a lot of my close friends. My dad is like a huge pinnacle for like all that type of stuff. Unfortunately, he is no longer with us. May God rest his soul. But that man put me onto a lot of the video games that I play now. This might show my age a little bit, but the first game that I ever played with was one of the first 2 actually. Doom on Windows 95. So that'll give you an idea of how old that I might be. And Super Mario Duck Hunt on the first Nintendo. That's where it started at. And now I still have all of my consoles, from those to the Sega Dreamcast to the PS2. Like, I hold on to all of that. Currently, I'm on the PlayStation 5. What am I playing? Jedi Survivor. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, and Cars too. You know it.
So I have an interesting question for you because
Okay.
of how the cosplay community is. This is a huge debate in the cosplay community.
Got you.
Buy your cosplayer, do you make your own?
Me personally, I don't have a problem with people who like they buy it, or if you make it yourself. Me personally, I make my own stuff just because, like I mentioned earlier, I like to put my own signature to it. I have friends who they do both. When it comes to the suits, I actually purchase those and I just build the armor over pretty much. I personally feel like that it's more fun to build it, but I understand like that there's some people who they might not have time for that, or like they might feel like that they don't have that artistic skill set really. So it's up to you really. As long as you're in something, you're having fun and you're comfortable, then you're a cosplayer.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's going on?
So I just had a really quick question for you.
Okay.
You mentioned you were going to DragonCon.
Yep.
Do you have already your cosplay that you're going to be wearing, or sort of?
I don't. So I know what I'm gonna be doing. It's Bakugo from My Hero, but I'm currently in the like planning and the designing phases, because I'm like trying to like pay like I guess you could say pay respect to how he looks now, but like I always say, put my own signature to it. So, and it's kind of hard because it's like so much to his build, but I think I'm gonna come up with something great though.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So I love the Gold Ranger.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's your favorite Power Ranger or Super Sentai?
I would say my favorite has to obviously be Tommy. Since I was a kid and seeing him like dog walk the entire Ranger squad in the Megazord.
Look how he break in. On site. This is the definition of on site. Put them out their own car. How you put somebody out their own whip so you can beat their ass in the daylight? He said, I need space to beat y'all ass. Look at this shit. He wound up for that shit. Bitch.
I was just blown away. That was one of those childhood moments that you would never forget. And I was like, yeah, that's my favorite right there. And I tell my friends all the time, if the younger me could like see me now, like he would just think that I was cool as hell. Because that's been my favorite Ranger for, I'm 32 now, yeah. So that's been my favorite for 32 years now.
A follow-up question.
Okay.
How did you come up with the name Aquarius Taught Me?
So it's actually like, all right, so a lot of what I do, there is some that I like go to YouTube University for, as we call it. But there's some that I was kind of like self-taught in, to where it was really just, I'm the type of person where I hate to read instructions. If I'm putting together like furniture, then it's like, I know I have the instruction there in case I need the reference, but I want to figure this out for myself pretty much. Sometimes it pans out, sometimes it doesn't, and then I have to go to the instruction booklet. But like I stated, I will go to YouTube for certain things, but I like that whole trial and error feel basically. And I feel like I didn't really want to just use my government name and then say like, you know, Keenen taught me. That's a little weird to me. So I was like, I'll go with my zodiac sign. Like that sounds a little bit more creative, I guess.
So since we're at MomoCon 2023, and I'm sure you've made your rounds around the campus as much as possible, and you've seen a lot of black and brown people cosplaying, some of them for the first time.
Definitely.
My question to you is, how does that make you feel? Being, I don't want to say an OG cosplayer, but
Yeah.
you've been cosplaying for so long, and now you come to a con and see so many
Definitely, yeah.
Black and brown cosplayers of every age, every generation.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I mean, it feels amazing just because like you don't really see like people of color like really get too many opportunities. I feel like when it comes to this kind of stuff. So like seeing us spotlighted, that'll always be an amazing feeling for me. I had a guy come up to me before I came up here actually to my booth, and he dang near made me cry because he was saying how much I inspired him to like build his first Power Rangers cosplay. And you could just tell, like, just from his tone and like just the look in his face, how much that meant to him. And like seeing him like that made me emotional. So I hope that answers that question. Like, I just love to see us thrive, man, especially in things like that we're passionate about. Like, it's just beautiful.